Hello and welcome to Season 4 of On the Road With, a show where we talk to touring professionals from the worlds of entertainment and performing arts. My name's Gareth and I'll be your host. If you'd like to catch up on Seasons 1, 2 and 3 of the show, you can do wherever you get your podcast fix. You can also keep in touch with me on social media. It's Gareth John Music on all the major social media platforms, as well as my YouTube channel where all the episodes are available in full. Now, today's guest is a really good friend of mine, somebody that I talk to really regularly, and she's got an interesting story in that she juggles two roles within the entertainment industry, both as a booking agent and a performer. She's also adapted very well during these strange times that we find ourselves in, and she also had a classical #1 with a classical pop duo, Eden, back in 2017, so we talk about that as well. It was a jam-packed conversation, which I really enjoyed, and I hope you do too. Lucy, thanks for doing this.
It's a pleasure.
So good to see you. It's been a long time since I've actually seen you. Spoke on the phone a few times, but I just wanted to catch up with you really to get that kind of booking agent perspective on things, because it's something I used to do, as you know, and also get a perspective of, again, something I used to do is combining being a performer and touring and being on the road with running a booking agency business, and how that kind of all came about. So I think if we start with what the current situation's been like for you with your business.
Well, it's been a lot quieter than you would than normal, as you'd expect. As an agent, a lot of my work is with cruise ships, and obviously that's gone to the ground, which has been pretty awful for the entertainers, and hotels. The hotels are now back, which is brilliant. Yeah. And so that is to be honest, that's a lifeline. We still, the other element is corporate events and weddings. Weddings are obviously now 15 people. What they've said that entertainers aren't included in that 15, which is better than when it was 30 actually, and entertainers were included. Yeah. But a lot of those bookings have gone for the performers purely because you can't dance, you're not allowed to sing along. So it's just a really difficult time for people. And my question is what's going to happen come Christmas, and so we're focusing on virtual entertainment for that.
I was going to ask about that a bit later, but it's quite a nice place to lead on to it now. The virtual entertainment side, you're the only agent I know really that has embraced that and tried to make it work for them. And how has that gone, and what have you sort of come up against?
Well, that's the thing. As a performer and as an agent, I think in this current climate, you've got to learn to diversify. And it's a way of bringing entertainment into people's homes, into people's businesses, without any danger. People can book in confidence. There's no need for them to cancel because it's safe, and it's reliable. The amount of people using online media now for work is huge. So many people work from home. They're used to using Zoom or whatever virtual platform it is they use. So it's a simple way of still bringing entertainment into parties. You don't get that same vibe of, bouncing off of your performer, but at the same time, it's better than having nothing.
And the price point on that, on virtual entertainment, have you had to compromise much on that? Because there's still a lot of work that goes into it. It might not be travelling the length and breadth of the country like we normally do, and all that time, but there is still work that goes into it in terms of setting it up. And if you're going to do it, you've got to do it properly, which costs money. So how has that been reflected in the prices you charge for the virtual stuff?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is with the virtual stuff, there's several ways of doing it. So a lot of people do gigs where they're performing live and it's streamed, but how I prefer to sell it, especially for corporate clients, is pre-recorded. And with pre-recorded stuff, there comes production cost. And so what I'm trying to do is keep the prices the same, but to include production cost. That way, the client's getting a really high-end product, but there's still, and the artist is still getting paid for the amount of time that they've got to put into it.
It's a strange one, because you've put a lot of time into it, but you don't get that as an artist. I'm sure you've had this. You don't get that same satisfaction from the end result.
Oh God, no! Of course you don't. You don't, because you can see on Zoom or whatever the audience, how they're responding to, but it's not the same as having that direct kind of bounce. But it's just the way of the world at the moment. We'd still rather be out there performing than not, and the other option is to do have an initial investment as an artist, because at the end of the day, we all have to put in to get out. And if these things are going to go virtual, you can put in your own initial investment, create something that is purely virtual that then you can sell to multiple parties. Do you see what I mean? So rather than making it just for one, and usually then you will be able to sell that for cheaper, which makes you more competitive price-wise. But you can sell that, if you've got 100 businesses having parties on the same day and you're selling the same product to them for half what you would usually charge, then you're still making a few quid. So it's just working what's right for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few things. The Brastards, for example, we've done a few live streams that we've been paid for. At the start, I remember the first one we did it and we went, oh, that's quite good. Like, we got paid that, and we've only nipped down to the rehearsal studio, and I think it was for somebody really far away. I can't remember where they were based, but it was for a company who were based quite far away, and we would have had to travel a lot that day, and long day in the van, and it would have been knackered. In all honesty, it probably wasn't the kind of normal gig that we would have really looked forward to. We would have just done it. And and that first one, we were thinking, oh yeah, great, we're getting the same money, and we've just, and then we can sell this multiple times. And we did sell it a few times, not ridiculous number, but we did sell it a few times. Then we thought, as it went on, we started thinking, yeah, but actually we'd rather be doing the gig. And also the way, I think when you're a certain type of performer as well, somebody who's, I know me personally, I like to actually be, if I'm in a theatre, for example, I'm literally walking down the aisles and high-fiving people, and I'm giving somebody a hug if they really enjoy a song, and I'm shaking someone's hand. People come up, oh, brilliant, mate, thanks so much, shake my hand. And all that, like, close contact stuff, which we just never gave a second thought before. It was just part of our job, wasn't it?
I know.
Take it for granted.
It is really, really strange. It's such a strange time, and it's not forever. I think that's what we all need to take on board. People aren't going to say, oh, actually working virtually as an artist is way better than being out there doing a live gig. It's never going to happen. Like they are saying, oh, everyone's going to work from home now rather than going back into an office. As a performer, that's just not going to happen. No. So I think as long as you can accept that, you've just got to swallow that pill short term, but let's try and find a way where we can still get out and do our job and, earn a living. I think we just got to accept that it's the way it is. And it could be this way for, the next 6 months,
6 months to a year, really. Yeah. I mean, I think, I think like what you did, the quite smart thing where you thought, okay, being a performer is a bit precarious, but if I'm on the agent side as well, there's a bit more security there, and I can work both alongside each other. And it's quite a sensible thing to do, is to run whatever it is, but run a related business alongside being a performer, because that can be up and down, and you can have cancellations, not get paid, and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. But it is also putting your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's what
I've learned.
That's what I was alluding to. I didn't want to put it like that, but that's what I was alluding to. And I think so. Moving on to that, then, if we talk as if we're in normal times for a second, as you know, something I did was the agent and musician thing, and with having education as well, doing a lot of teaching. It was something that I couldn't quite manage to do all three, and I had to kind of make a decision as to what I was going to do. It's not the easiest thing to manage. You're more organised than me, so it probably is a bit easier. But
I know I am. You're a nightmare.
That's not a massive claim, to be honest, because it's not something to be proud of, because I'm rubbish, like you say. But juggling those two, I guess, in lots of ways, ethically. When there's a dispute, you're both parties sometimes. You're sending yourself. Yeah. You've got to relate to musicians, but at the same time, you're their agent. And some musicians don't like agents. How does all that work? And time management and all the rest of it. Talk us through that day to day.
Well, I think it is about being organised, I think, to a certain degree, and trying to separate the two and giving time to both, because, I've been a performer for 23 years now. God damn. Whoa, I'm so old. Yeah,
That
and
is a long
so
time.
I think I've kind of got that down now, I hope. And so that side of things, I still have to obviously do the rehearsals, make sure that everything's in place for the gigs, but I'm confident in what I do with that. So that doesn't take as much time as the agency. And, you know, that's been a massive learning curve. I've been doing the agency now for four years. And, you know, I've learned a lot of things along the way, but I think as long as you do stay on top of things, that's the most important thing, to make sure that both the client and the artist are happy, and that everybody knows exactly where they've got to be, when they've got to be there, and feel supported. Because there's nothing worse than, you know, an artist being like, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. And I've kind of learned that from being an artist myself, you know. And it's a funny thing, you know, I think being a booking agent now is completely different to what it was 10, 15 years ago anyway.
Even 4 years ago.
Just because of the internet mainly, you know. Years ago, you know, your weddings or your clients would go to an agent and say, I need this. And you'd say, oh, here's a photo and here's a really bad video of them, you know. What do you think? And they'd just book them. But now, you know, you've got a portfolio on your website. People go to it. The first thing they try and do is cut you out to try and find the artist themselves, which is, direct, you know, understandable. I'd do exactly the same thing. So the first thing we have to do is change the artist's name, which is a shame as well.
And you get some people being funny about that. You get some artists being funny. They don't get it. I've had that before. They go, well, no, this is what we're called. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, like, hang on, stop being poncy and artistic about this. This is about protecting, like, if you're being honest, about protecting your business, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's, you know, there's nothing you can do about people going direct. It's just the way it is.
Happens,
apart from try and protect yourself, and the only way of doing that really is by changing the artist's name. But then, as a negative as an agent for that is they can't see all the brilliant comments they're getting. You can put as much as you can on your website, but that's if you're a website like mine where I've got maybe 200 acts, it's hard to then stay on top of making sure the reviews are up to date and all of the images and the videos and things. So it's a balancing act, I think. You know, you've got some people that just won't try and go direct. They just don't care. They just want to book through you. You know, they know they're getting a good service. They know they're getting the contracts all in place. And you know, that's what it makes going through a booking agent good and secure. But yeah, it's a completely different world than it was. But I do really love it. I love it. You know, I've loved the industry my whole life. And for me, it just seemed like natural progression to go from artist to agent and try and balance that with family as well. Because, you know, as much as I love being on tour, being out there doing stuff, it's also nice to have a level of normality, because I got married a year ago. I need to balance home life with gigging. You know, well, I've been married to the job for 20 odd years.
Well, you do that. You end up like that, though, don't you? I mean, you know, it's if you're not careful, you can end up. I've had to really. Actually, lockdown has been useful in that regard. It's made me assess what's important, and not that the job isn't important, but there are some things that should take priority, you know, in terms of your personal life, and they should take priority all the time, not just in hard times. And I think I remember you saying to me, it might have been at your wedding or coming up to your wedding, was you were saying that you have I can't remember why we got onto the subject, but you were saying you have a weekend a month off normally from performing, where you know you just say that's my time or our time, family time, you know. And I think that's it's nice to be in a position to do that. I mean, a lot of musicians wouldn't be able to afford to do that, to be fair.
Absolutely. And to be honest, that's where the agencies come in. It's balanced me so that I can take that time off. It means I'm working a lot during the week as well as working at the weekends, but it's allowed me to be able to balance that. So when Max is at work, I'm working on the agency, and then at the weekends I'm out. So it's trying to take that time off. And one weekend a month was great, actually. And it also allowed me to have a weekend, because I don't think I've really properly had a weekend in ever.
Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah. Again,
But
the
you've
pandemic
got to
has.
take what you can as an
Yeah,
artist.
you have, and that's been a nice thing again about the pandemic is that actually I've had weekends to myself, and it's been like, oh yeah, this is what this is what normal people do. They go like they
Oh,
socialise at weekends. They go to the park, they go to the pub, they do whatever, and like
yeah.
we've never really had that. You know what I mean? So,
No.
because that's when you're working, sort of thing. So, talk about your kind of singing journey. Kind of how you sort of
Oh,
started and what you do now. I know you've gone through various different guises, haven't you, with it?
yeah. I've done everything basically. So
Whatever pays the bills.
exactly. Whatever So I started out so many years ago, and I went to Leicester College and did contemporary and popular music there when it was access to music, actually, of course. And then I got into a girl band in London whilst I was on that course. And so I moved down to London and did some stuff and did some touring and some great recording, which was just wonderful. But I was like your typical pop kid. I just loved pop music. But I was on a course where I was basically with a load of metalheads. And the girl band thing didn't fully work out for me, which was a shame. But I was only 17 and I was discovering all different kinds of music as well. I mean, I'd only really heard pop music. That's just what I grew up with. And, I was on this course, and I was one of two girls on the course. And so it's just me and a load of lads. They were quite smelly, if I'm honest. As we're all 16, 17-year-old boys, we had, they were back then. They all smell lovely these days.
Yeah. But they're all obsessed with it, all obsessed with smelling nice now. That's the thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, so I just learned about different kinds of music, and it was wonderful. And so then I started writing and got in an original band, which was amazing and just lovely. And we were together for 5 years, and we did all sorts of fun and things that I can't even talk about.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. And then I thought, well, I've tried to get signed a million times, and we have got signed, but it's still not really working out. And I actually need to probably make some money now. So I decided to get a proper job. And by proper job, I mean go and work on a cruise ship for a while.
Yeah.
And so,
but that is compared to an original band, that is a proper job, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I went and earned some money out of my art. Some people said I was a complete sellout, which I just think is, because I mean, whilst I was in the original band, I was still gigging doing covers anyway, and even then people were like, can't believe you do that. But the people that were saying to me, you're a sellout doing covers, blah blah blah, I was like, I'm earning money from singing. You work in a pie factory, mate.
Exactly.
Not there's anything wrong with that.
No.
I was doing something that I love.
There's nothing wrong with that, but don't look down on me. Do you know what I mean? Don't look down on me, because I've experienced, honestly, Lucy, I've experienced this with so many people, and I'm not going to name them here and now, but I will when I turn record off. I'll name it. No, but I've experienced it with so many people, and especially on the covers thing, and even within a professional band. So like the Brastards, we do a mixture of the two. It's about 50-50, maybe slightly more weighted in the covers direction. As a solo artist, I do more covers than original, but I do write my own stuff as well. And I don't get this. There's a thing about how it has to be either one or the other. Well, you're a cover artist and you're a sellout,
it's a stigma.
or you're an original artist, and each camp tend to look down on the other. Covers people go, well, why are you bothering writing original stuff? That's silly. You're never going to get anywhere. Do covers and earn some money. When in actual fact, you can earn money from original stuff. It's a bit more difficult, but you can. And then the original artists go, oh, you sell out. You're doing covers, cruise ship. Oh, I can't think of anything worse and all that. And you think, well, hang on a minute, mate. Yeah. I'm making a living out of what I love. What are you doing? And quite often they're not, they're not doing what they love to make ends meet, which is not a problem. But don't look down on me. So I've never understood that kind of
the balance.
I just think it can be. It's down to the individual. It's what suits you as an artist. you know, and it's like if I did all original swing stuff when people came to see me, you know, I probably wouldn't get the work I do. They want to hear "Fly Me
You
to the Moon"
wouldn't.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you've got to
Yeah.
balance it up with what's going to earn you money, what do you enjoy, and I just think everything can be a bit of best of both. I don't know why there has to be this paralysed kind of no, you're either that or you're that. It does my head in.
Yeah, I completely understand. Like, because when, to be honest, going back to the agency, when I set that up, I was in two minds whether to set up a agency that dealt with corporate and wedding work, or whether to become a band manager and find a really amazing original band if I could, and try and help them and develop them.
It's a hard game.
You know,
That.
I didn't have. It is a really hard game, but I felt like because I've done that side of things as well, and I've been signed to various managers throughout my career, I thought I can probably really help some young upcoming bands to, you know, but the trouble is that would have been so, and it sounds a bit awful on my part, that would have been so much time that and money and everything that I've got to dedicate to those bands. And, you know, unless I was 100% committed to that band, then potentially I'm not going to actually get anything back from it, you know. And I think the difference between original music and people that do covers, there isn't the money in original unless you do get picked up, and that's not a lot of the time to do with talent, it's to do with luck.
Yeah, it is.
I do, but it is putting yourself in the right places too, but you know, it's a whole mix of things.
But even among musicians, so like Ben Searle, the tall trumpet player who works for the Brastards, we talk about it quite a bit, and he always says, well, it depends what you want to do. We had this kind of sort of debate, I guess. We were doing Butlins, doing a gig at Butlins, and we're in one of them like real cold chalets, you know, freezing our tits off in this.
Yeah.
Sun. And he was, and he was saying to me, he said, "Oh, it depends what you want to do. Like, you know, if your original thing is it's not driven by money, and you want to do it to get your art out there, you know, to get your ideas out there, and for a laugh, then great. And if you want to earn money, then you do what we were doing a proper corporate gig that night with all covers, Brastar. Yeah. So he said, you do this, you know, we're earning money. And I said, yeah, but I do think there can be a happy medium where you get to do both, whether they're in separate guises and you do spend a bit of time on one and a bit on the other during the week, or they're actually in the same artist or the same band. I do think they can work alongside each other.
They can. And if you want to, you know, make money from your art, then it is, but you still want to have that input in terms of writing, then I think it's a really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But both take a lot of time and take a lot of commitment.
That's
so
right.
You've got to have that time.
Yeah.
So it's
It's you can't do everything, can you? That's the thing.
No. You can't. We do try, but we can't.
Yeah. That's it. I never knew that about your original band side and the girl group and all that kind of stuff. I didn't even know you'd gone to Leicester College to be honest.
Did you not?
No.
Yeah, that was all the start. I mean, after that, I then did some theatre stuff, and I had some singing lessons with an amazing lady down in London. I've never kind of, other than going to Leicester College, I didn't go to a theatre school as such, which most of the people in the shows do. Yeah. But I managed to get through somehow. A lot of blagging, I think. And then
that can get you far though.
I can. And then I met Libby, and so Libby is a lady that I've worked with now for 8 years. We're in a duet called Eden, and we put that together initially to go out and do what they call guest entertaining on ships, where you fly in, do a show, fly out. And we were focusing it on classical singing, which again is a bit bizarre because I've never really done classical singing before, but I thought, well, you know, give that a go. Turns out I'm actually okay at that.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
So, and then we set it up for the cruise ships, really, but then we started rearranging a load of songs, and we were probably inspired by sort of the music of Il Divo and Catherine Jenkins, people like that who were doing really well at the time. And there were no female duets doing anything like that. So we then really pushed down the classical crossover route, and we were lucky enough to get a number one in the classical charts back in 2016, I think. Oh God, all the years molded into one. No, 2017, I think it was. So, and that was great for us, because then that really springboarded us into getting some really, really nice gigs. And, we stopped doing the cruises, even though they were fun and nice. One October, we had to do 16 flights within a 3-week period, and we hate flying, so we were just both like losing a hair and nervous wrecks. So we were
that's
like,
not a good.
We
That's not a good look.
From this.
Losing your hair when you're a classical singer.
No, I know. I mean, it's not ideal. No. I look like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings.
I didn't know that either about the classical charts. That's interesting, and that's a big. That's not easily done. That's a big accolade.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, to be honest, we were kind of like, oh well, we'll release it. If we could get into the top 100, that would be amazing. And literally, we got to number one on pre-release. We couldn't blooming believe it.
How did you go about how did you go about marketing that then to try and get in the top 100? What was this kind of strategy?
Well, this is the thing. It was very much more like a original band would do. So we were spending a lot of time online, promoting our music, speaking to people. Because the thing with the classical crossover world is it's a lot smaller than the pop world. So you don't we weren't in competition with like Ed Sheeran. If that makes sense. But people that invest in you in that world, and I mean kind of not financially, but they are really supportive and amazing and share your stuff, and it's really nice. It's really nice. And so we would do it at the time. We were like the in-house opera singers at Selfridges in London. And it was so lovely, because the people that were supporting us back then, they would all just rock up at Selfridges and stand, like we used to sing near the escalators. But it's a lovely, wonderful, supportive bubble to be in.
Great, yeah.
And it was good. But we just literally did everything online promotions, and then we put on a few gigs. We did some at the Battersea Barge, and we did some at the Y Theatre in Leicester as well, actually.
Great venue.
It's a brilliant venue.
Fingers crossed we keep that one. Fingers crossed we keep that one, because they're struggling a bit at the minute. And I
thought they probably would be.
Yeah, and it's somewhere I've done quite a lot of stuff, swing and Amy Winehouse stuff and all that kind of thing. So I really hope they stick around. After the Haymarket went, I thought, oh shit! When I saw the fundraiser for the Y Theatre, the crowdfunder on Facebook, I thought, here we go. You know what I mean? They're going to start to drop like flies. So fingers crossed.
Yes.
But. So, and how, in terms of, I'm quite interested in this bit. How did you go about sort of recording it? And was that all DIY, or did you have a label behind you? Or
we had an independent financial backer, actually, that was amazing.
Wow.
And so we recorded it with not with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra as such, but with members of the Royal Scottish National, and we recorded it all in Glasgow.
Wow.
And yeah, it was. So we made an album, and then we just released a song. Actually, we released a song after that album called Il Gladiatore, which is what we got to number one with, and it's basically the theme tune from Gladiator. So Pavarotti put a vocal over the top of that, and then what we did was we changed it, made it into like nice harmony sort of sound, and then re-recorded it. And we did like a crowdfunder thing as well to pay, I think, for a music video. And one of the things that you could buy as the crowdfunding thing, or one of the, I don't know what they call them. I don't know.
I know what you mean. I
can't think what they call it now. But one of those was for them to be featured on our single that was going to be released. And so we made a choir up out of people that had been supporting us for a couple of years.
Nice touch.
And that was a way of them supporting us and them being on the track. So it was really nice. And so we then brought them up. We had a day together. We had cake and sandwiches, brought them into the studio, and then we recorded them all. and then we recorded a choir separately, mixed the whole lot together. And so it's nice that the people that support us are also now featured on the single.
That's great. Yeah. Good. I
yeah,
might nick that idea. That's a good that's a good one. I like that.
Like we were saying, with there being bad press if you're in covers or original, you get the same with the classical crossover, because classical crossover isn't opera. And so if you've got diehard opera fans, they think classical crossover is basically rubbish.
Yeah. They think it's like watered down, don't they? Yeah.
But what I think of it is it's really beautiful, and it allows, I think it's brought more fans to opera than anything, because it makes it more it's easier on the ear. It's not so hard to take in, and it's melodies that are catchy, and it's it's lovely. And people that wouldn't necessarily listen to classical music would listen to classical crossover because it's more recognisable. So,
Yeah, I mean, you get the same thing with jazz. So you look at like, you know, Jamie Cullum, for example, somebody I'm a huge fan of, and like especially after seeing him live, I think he's absolutely brilliant. And he has he gets a lot of stick from jazzers, pure jazz musicians and pure jazz fans, saying that he's prostituting it and all the rest of it, just because he does cross over into pop. You know, he's a great. I think he's a great writer in that regard, that he confused the two. And he gets so much stick for it, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, he's brought so many fans, especially in the UK, to jazz. I don't think Gregory Porter would be as massive as he is if it weren't for the likes of Jamie Cullum.
Oh, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah, he's brilliant, yeah. And do you know what I mean? I think that kind of, and there's been those artists that break through. I mean, if you listen to Gregory's recent album, for example, yes, it has gone a bit more poppy, and he's trying to do that crossover thing. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And there's a stigma, like with the covers thing, there's a stigma about people who cross over from one genre to the other. But you look at a lot of massive names, and they've done it. So, you know, what the hell?
Exactly. You know, pop music's called pop for a reason. It's because it's popular.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
So what are the kind of plans with that then, in terms of recording and stuff? Have you got any follow-up? Obviously it's a bit difficult at the minute, but have you got any follow-up ideas in the works? Or
Well, yeah, we just before we went into lockdown, we've recorded some not a backing track as such, but the musicians have all recorded. We've just not put our vocals on a track yet.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 new songs going to be released as soon as we can get into the studio and do it. And what we're talking about doing now is literally getting just recording them at home, you know, and getting something out there, getting some vocals down. Yeah, it may not be as polished because we're not producers, we're not, you know, amazing engineers. I can barely use a USB microphone. But we thought, you know, at least then we're still doing it, we're getting stuff out there, and it gives us something to still look forward to as well, and it gives us a bit of positivity, still working together. We're lucky because, you know, unlike a lot of artists, we work for a specific hotel chain, so we're still out gigging.
Of course,
two gigs next week, so we do still have that live, and they're live gigs as well. So we still have that live element, which is amazing, but we haven't done any recording in quite a long time. We're really looking forward to getting this done, so we're just gonna do it ourselves, see how that works.
You know? Sometimes that's the best way, and I think that's been one of the challenging but also fulfilling things of this weird time, is that as musicians we've had to become producers, and I've become a podcast host, and I've been, you know what I mean, and I've started doing the radio, and you're writing songs as well, and you know, like, I would never have got this studio that I'm in now. I would never have got this done if it hadn't been for lockdown. Well, that sounds like I'm claiming I did it. I didn't. I got someone in to do it, but but I, you know, I wouldn't be doing the podcast. I wouldn't be.
You would have had.
You know, so I would have probably just been bumbling along doing the same old stuff. Which.
Well, that's the thing. People think that, you know, during lockdown, the musicians, they're not even out working, but
just sitting around.
I've never been so busy. Like, I've had to completely rebrand my agency. I'm trying to, you know, push for gigs, and also trying to find ways where I feel fulfilled, because you know, that we need our music to do that, because that's who we are as musicians. So it's trying to balance it. So it hasn't been, I'm going to sit down and watch Netflix all day.
There has been the odd day like that for me. I don't know about you, but there has been the odd day like that.
Never.
No.
I would never do that.
What do you mean? But there's been. I mean, talking of that, there are those days where you just feel really, really demotivated. You know what I mean? And those kind of, you know, that kind of can hardly get off the sofa kind of day. You know what I mean? So everything's a struggle. And I've heard that from I felt like that myself, and I've heard that from various performers. And it's like, you know, they say it's like a drug, performing, and if you don't, it's like an alcoholic who needs a drink. You know.
Well, it releases endorphins. You know.
Yeah.
And it's that, you know, it is that buzz of being it's the nerves, it's that feeling of being out there doing the job. It's like nothing else. And I think if suddenly it stops and it's not your choice, then it is going to have an effect, and so many musician and performer friends of mine are really suffering with their mental health, and it's completely understandable.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Really is. It's tough.
It's kind of, I think what people are struggling with is the uncertainty. There's no plan. There's also, look at venues. Every venue that I've either performed at or been in for a drink or whatever, they've always gone the extra mile to make sure everything's COVID safe. They complied with everything. They worked really hard.
Yeah.
And then there's just this kind of chopping and changing all the time from the government. You don't really know where you stand, and I think that's driving a lot of people insane, to be honest with you.
I think so, but I don't think it's just our sector that's dealing with that. I think it's widespread. And, with that, the trouble is we've never faced anything like this before. And, I do feel like the government could turn around and say, right, well, in 3 months you'll be able to do this. But the fact is that would just be a lie in itself, because they don't even know what's going to happen. And we can't put really, I don't think, a plan in place that is, sturdy before we know what's going to happen with numbers. And everybody's got their opinion, but it's just a really sad, challenging time, not just for the music industry but for so many industries. And again, it's that word balance, isn't it, of finding a way to keep people safe but also maintain a level of mental health, and also being able to keep the economy alive. It's a really challenging time. It's hard.
Tough balancing act. I mean, what do you think about the argument that musicians should retrain? Have you seen that? I don't know if you've seen this on various social media.
Yeah, I have seen it. I personally don't think it would ever do anybody harm to learn new skills. I think learning new skills is an amazing thing.
I agree, yeah.
But at the same time, I do think it is putting an entire industry down and saying it's irrelevant, which makes you just feel rubbish. And also, as a musician, we have loads of skills already. We have a lot.
Yeah.
It's not just a case of, I can open my mouth and noise comes out and it sounds good. You have to go. You have to be organised. You have to be personable. You have to go and set up equipment and know how it works. You have to be, you plan routes. You have to plan, everything. And
you manage projects as well, don't you? And
it's not just a case of rocking up somewhere and singing or playing. It's tough. And there's a lot more to it than just singing or dancing or whatever it is your art form is. So I do believe that it's not a bad thing to retrain, but you should probably retrain in something that's going to be useful for when things do return to normal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was unfortunate, really, how the Chancellor, when he said it, and how the Chancellor said it was, he was saying that people need to look at diversifying. But then he went on. Then he went on to say retrain and get another job, basically, in the same interview.
I know.
And it's like, oh no. But the first bit, I agree with. I think you have got to diversify, and that's no harm in that. In whatever industry you're in, whatever job you do, there's no harm in upskilling and getting and gaining new experience and branching out a little bit. And I think I would encourage anyone to do that, even if it's not within music. There are other things, business wise, you could look at and
business.
Other
learning
art
to
forms.
use like spreadsheets and things like that. I know it's really boring, but they're really helpful.
Yeah. No, absolutely, yeah. And there's also other. You could look at going into other art forms as well. You could look into other performing arts aspects as well. So there's no harm in that at all. But then to the devaluing part at the end, just basically saying you're irrelevant, that has sent a lot of people mentally over the edge, actually, to be honest.
Oh God, yeah, I know, it's been awful. I mean, and I just think it was really badly worded and really badly put. Because it doesn't take rocket science to know that we do have a very viable business because everybody needs entertainment. And the thing that I'm finding most weird is I've always said the one thing I can be certain of is my job will always be safe because people will always need to be entertained.
Yeah.
And I did not foresee this coming.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's also, for, people like ourselves that have been professional musicians for a long time, to be told to go and retrain because your career choice is not viable, it is a bit of a kick in the teeth, let's face it.
Yeah.
Because actually it is viable because you watch Netflix, you watch TV,
you listen to Spotify,
you go to the pub and hear music.
Yeah.
There's music everywhere, and life without music is pretty dull.
Yeah, and that's right. Yeah.
And
I think the interview I did before yours, speaking to a guy who's a top sound engineer and tours with some really big names, and he was saying to get used, and this was an eye-opener, and I hope people who, if they're maybe aspiring to go into, especially his side of things, behind the scenes, if they're looking to go into that and then thinking, well, what kind of money could I earn? This was an eye-opener because he was saying, well, to retrain and still be able to meet the mortgage payment that I have to now, the lifestyle that I have now, I would need to retrain to be an architect or a lawyer. He said, and I can't just do that in 5 minutes, can I? That takes years. And do I want to do that?
Exactly.
No. You know what I mean? And I thought, well, but I thought actually that was a positive thing because I thought, well, if he needs to be an architect or a lawyer to be on similar kind of money, then he's done all right for himself. You know, a lot of people will be happy for that. We're happy with that. So, and I think there's this whole thing about singers and performers and all that where people think. They don't really think about just the working. They don't know. Why would they? They don't know about just the working singer or the working trumpet player, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They just think you're either like right up top, filling out Wembley, or you're struggling by, you're scraping by, and there's a whole big thing in between, and of people who are just making a living, making a similar money to what a teacher might make, or a nurse, or just making a good and paying taxes, paying into the economy. They've got a decent house, they're fairly comfortable.
Yeah,
it is doable. I always try and say this to younger people when they're asking me about how do I get into it. Is to say, well, you don't have to necessarily shoot for those big bright lights and big fame. You can just work as a
and
performer.
It's a wonderful life.
It's a great job.
It's a really wonderful life. It is. And I know that you do the teaching, and I think a lot of performers are now pushing towards doing more of that side of things. Personally, I hate it.
Yeah, not you. Yeah.
I would. That is not me. I taught at Leicester College actually for 3 years. Worst 3 years of my life.
Well, it's either you or it's not. You can't half. It's very obvious if somebody goes into teaching and then they're not really feeling it. You know what I mean? You have to go in full, and you have to be in a different way as passionate about that, or in your case, as passionate about being an agent as you do as being a singer. Otherwise, it won't work.
Yeah, I mean. It was nice to see development and everything with the students. It just was not for me.
Yeah,
but the point is, like, telling me to retrain in something, that would be the logical thing to do. Go and teach what I'm good at. But I don't want to. No. I've already found what I do. Why should I have to go and retrain?
Yeah, and you've worked hard at it.
The other thing I found with a lot of my friends that are now trying to get normal jobs is we're almost unemployable, because even though we do have so many skills, like we've already discussed, on a CV, it's quite hard to put that down in a way that's going to sell that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
If on your CV you've got worked in, in this show, was in worked on a cruise ship, I've been doing corporate events for all of these years, and you're going for a job, I don't know, doing admin, they'll look at that and think, well, this person isn't qualified to do this job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not that all that transferable, I guess. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the trouble. So it's making sure you can write your CV in a way that is, sounds like actually she does know what she's doing in terms of admin, if that's what you're going for, just changing your CV. But, I'm thinking it's going to be short term anyway. So I wouldn't personally go and retrain for something for 3 years because of this pandemic, but that's just me personally. I am hopeful, I'm optimistic, and I would rather diversify what I'm doing that I'm good at than try and do something that I'm not going to enjoy and that I'm not going to be particularly good at.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you might be amazing at it, but if you've already got that passion for something and you can still make a living out of it, then I think you should try that first.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you can also push things ahead that you maybe didn't have time to before. For example, you've been recording, and getting that next album, next couple of tracks together. You know what I mean? And I've done the same with my album and stuff. Yeah, just getting stuff ready. And again, that would have been easily 8-9 months later if it had not been for lockdown, and I could have gone, right, okay, what am I doing with this? Let's get it sorted. And I think you can still move forward to a point. Somebody said to me, they would say, when I was quite down about things, they said, control what you can control, and then what you can't control, don't worry about.
Good.
And I think that kind of says it all, really, for what the best attitude to have is at the moment.
I think if not everybody has the ability to stay positive. People do, and I do think mental health issues are quite big in the arts.
Yeah.
But if you do have the ability to keep that positive mental attitude, then it is going to really help you to be able to stay focused on doing what you love.
Absolutely.
And trying to be logical in finding a way to work around this situation and find the best outcome for you, because everybody's outcome is going to be different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And everybody has different, I'm really lucky that my husband's still working.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of couples both in the music industry and they're really struggling.
Yeah.
So, it's a tough time. There's no denying it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on that cheery note,
I know, right? Times will get better, and in talking of time, I'm aware of time, so I'd like to we could wrap it up there, and I'd like to really thank you, Lucy, for your time. I appreciate it. Oh, it's a pleasure. I've loved it. It's great.
Yeah,
nice to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you too.
I think we might have gone off on a bit of a tangent.
Well, that wouldn't be like us, would it?
No.
So, nice one, Lucy. Thanks very much.
Brill, no worries.
Thank you so much for joining me for the first episode of Season 4 of On the Road With. My guest was the lovely Lucy Campbell, and I'd like to thank her so much for her time. The conversation could have gone on a lot longer. There was a lot more for us to discuss, but I think we covered some good ground there in terms of musicians' mental health, performers' mental health more generally as well, obviously, and her really interesting and diverse story. If you like what you hear, and you can check out all the previous episodes from seasons 1, 2 and 3 wherever you get your podcast fix. And you can also obviously follow season 4 as it goes forward through those channels as well. If you've got any feedback on the show or any guest suggestions, please do email me. It's garethrdjohn@gmail.com, or you can contact me on any of the social media platforms, Gareth John Music. You can also hear all of the commercially available music from the show on the On the Road With featured songs playlist on Spotify. One last thing to ask of you, if you could give us a quick rating and review on Apple Podcasts, that would be much appreciated. It really does help spread the show far and wide. I'm going to play the show out now with Madonna's Like a Prayer, which was the first song that Lucy sang professionally. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I hear you call my name, and it feels like home. When you call my name, it's like a little prayer. I'm down on my knees. I wanna take you there in the midnight hour. I can feel your power, just like a prayer. You know I'll take you there. I hear your voice. It's like